Good evening, Tony Dottino. I am the founder of the August the 7th, doing a virtual competition. People are registering for it. We're moving forward with the events and the games, and then we will take a group of people from the virtual event on August 7th, and we are bringing them to Orlando, Florida on October the 23rd for them to compete in a on-stage event to see who has got the best memory of the United States. So this is our next official event crowning a national champion. And I'll be meeting with the folks that are hosting that this week. So things are moving along. We've got good things happening. And I love doing my Live with Tony segments, and especially when I catch up on some of the reading that I had here in Florida while I was up in New York. But as you can see, I'm still here in Florida, or I'm here back in Florida, and doing my Monday, Wednesday, Friday Live with Tony. So I want to pick up where I was working the other day, catching up on my reading. I started the other day with an article on little changes in your routine can have a big effect on memory. So I wanted to grab a hold of that and continue to dive into what little changes were that can make a big difference on your memory. And what has been interesting to me is these little changes, as published by Mind, Mood, and Memory magazine, are very similar to the things that we have identified in our Maximum Memory Mastery online course and in the work that we've been doing in the 6 elements of helping with brain health. And so in that regard, I've got a message here that I got to just clear. Okay. I wanted to just pick that up and share a little bit more because as I was reading something else, it talked about, what happens in feeling young can reduce the ages of and the impacts of stress. And what we know is stress increases the inflammation in our whole body system, and inflammation in our body is not a good thing. We want to minimize that as much as we can do on a regular basis, and going through some of these little small changes can make that difference. So let's go through a little bit more detail. Getting into a routine and occupying your day with brain-healthy behaviors may help you think and remember more clearly. So this is coming from the Massachusetts General Hospital Mind, Mood, and Memory newsletter from June of this year. And it talks about this putting in your routine. So when I think of routine, it's the behaviors that you can put into your day-to-day life that can make a difference. The other thing that was interesting in this, there was an article in it that talked about eating too much processed meat may increase dementia risk. So now I'm reading several articles on processed meat, which is part of nutrition, right? And what that's doing is it's increasing, the processed meats have different chemicals in it that actually promote inflammation in the body. And what we do know is we do not want inflammation in the body. So off we go. What are some of the things that we can do that are a little twist? Certainly one is our nutritional habits. And more research continues to come out that's identifying the nutritional ingredients of what we've talked about for years. A good healthy diet for your heart is a fabulously well and healthy diet for your brain. And so nutritional habits, we talk about, are you a vegetarian? Are you eating your vegetables? Are you eating your right fruits? And, it's amazing to me how long this has been out, and processed foods are not good, and extra sugars. And yet we continue to read articles at this, and yet are we beginning to put these things into our life? Are we beginning to make these as little changes? I'm not suggesting people do a revamp of your whole diet and make a change overnight. Take one day a week and your meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just pick one day for breakfast, one day for lunch, and one day. Make them different days if you'd like. And just alter something you put in there. Maybe for breakfast, instead of eating bacon and sausage, you add something a little bit different in there. Maybe you have yogurt and a piece of fruit with it. Maybe you have a cup of tea or coffee, and they're showing more and more elements of coffee. So just make a change in your breakfast patterns. Eggs, right? The protein you get from eggs, good way to start your day. Maybe you have bran cereal with a piece of fruit in it. Maybe peaches. This is a good time of the year for peaches. At lunchtime, maybe you have a salad and you put some tuna and put some maybe sardines or some salmon pieces in your lunchtime salad. But the point of the matter is making little changes. Dinner time, eliminate some of your pastas and maybe replace it with some fish, or put some cheese in your mind. Get some protein mixed into your diet so we're not just overloading with carbs. And then throughout the day, can you add some fruits and vegetables, apples, pears, cherries are big right now. They're in season. So there's a lot of things you can do in terms of adding some fruits into your diet along with the vegetable. How about kale, or how about spinach, peas? So many different items we can add to our dinner plate that make a huge difference into our day-to-day habits, that you just do them a little bit at a time. You don't have to overdo them. Next, let's see what else we got here. That's what we're going to want to do is take a few minutes and just give yourself some time. I've been talking about this throughout the year. Just give yourself 15 minutes to a half an hour. Just kind of go off to your own space and just do your own thing. Just get you away from phone calls and cell phones and the craziness of whatever your day. Maybe it's a break away from your kids or your spouse or your work, where you just get 15 minutes to a half an hour to, and I say meditate. It just, I sit at the back of our house some days and just stare at the trees and listen to the birds. And I just talk about that as it's like being meditative. It's like you're just out in space, just listening to the sounds of nature. So find something in your world where you just listen to sounds. Even if you sat and listened to the sounds of people. There are times I just love to listen to the sounds of kids making play noises and stuff. Anything that can take you away from the day-to-day activities. Move a little bit more. My goodness, with the COVID and restricting yourselves, I've heard so many people talk about the fact that they've put on weight. And I'm saying, my goodness, this is so backwards. This should have been the time where you got to control everything you ate and you could plan your whole day. And this is where you could have taken control over your nutritional habits. As I've said, I haven't been to a lot of conferences. I haven't been out doing a lot of speaking this year. So therefore, I set my diet up. What am I eating for breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner? And I know some people think that's crazy and you got to become so regimented. Yeah, I have some spontaneity in my meals. But the fact of the matter is I've kind of stuck with healthy habits. My fruits and my vegetables are planned out. I will eat 3 fruits a day. Right now I'm eating Bing cherries, grapes, and blueberries. And I picked up a watermelon today at Costco. So I'll finish up one of my fruits and add some watermelon into the diet. And I don't just pour that in and just eat all of that at one time. I'll mix a bowl up and then have pieces of it throughout the day whenever I get the urge to want to eat something. My dinners, I plan out my dinners, and I still may have a piece of meat. I'll look for some fish. I'll look for some whole grain flours. I'll look for whole grain pastas, and still have my pasta, but I'll do it with whole grain flours. Maybe I'll have a meatball with it. But I control what I'm eating, and I make that plan at the beginning of the week, and I don't deviate from that plan too frequently unless something unexpected comes up. So what we want to be able to do is move a little bit more, get more active, and use this time to be more in control. So moving a little bit. Reading an article a little while ago, it was like taking a 5-minute walk after dinner. 5 minutes after dinner helps you process the foods that you've eaten and eliminate some of the sugar that's turning into glucose that's giving you a spike, just by taking a 5-minute walk. So these are not major things. 5 minutes, just walk in your house. I mean, no matter how small or large your house is, you can walk for 5 minutes. And as I said, take a couple of books, right? If you're in a small area, just take a couple of books, stack them up, and just go up and down on the books, and just take some steps and going up and down. Solve any puzzles, right? We talk about crosswords, Sudokus, word searches. They're all different kinds of brain games now that are in various newspapers and media reports, magazines. I don't know that there's many magazines I can pick up anymore that don't have something in them about some sort of crossword puzzles, Sudokus, word searches, different memory games, not memory games, but different mental games that help you to stay active and keep you in a thinking mode. And last but not least, figure out how to continue to maintain some social interactions. We don't want, we see it now more and more. People are just getting out to ball games, and be it basketball, hockey, or baseball. People are now wanting to just get out. It's an intrinsic desire we have to be social. So reacquaint yourself with some of your social networks, and maybe it's time to go do outdoor dining and find a place. It's summertime, so you can go outdoor and dine, sit at a distance, get a table that's outdoor, and enjoy people's company, and pick up back to the social skills. And I'm not saying you have to do that every day, because science suggests, gee, if you feel like you've got to go out and meet people every day, it gets to be like a task and or chore, and it minimizes the benefits and the impacts of it. But those are some of the tips that are coming out of Massachusetts General and their Mind, Mood, and Memory newsletter. And they all make sense, because we've been talking about that in our Maximum Memory Mastery online course, and it all fits. So stay with it, and we'll be back with you on Monday in the 5 o'clock hour, doing Live with Tony, and continuing to read over the weekends and weekdays, and bringing some of these nuggets to you as part of our service that we want everybody to realize there's so much more we can do with our mental capacities and our cognitive fitness and health than we ever thought possible. And we want everybody that's a part of our audience to at least know what those are and take advantage of what science is telling us today about our cognitive fitness and mental health. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.